We talk about this.
Yeah, I think we probably should. Here, let's get the Luke cam going here. You'll have to lift it up a little bit higher. We shot a short today right before the WAN show that is kind of inspired by that scene in Office Space where they beat the crap out of the printer. Do you want to explain what you're holding there, Luke?
Yeah.
Careful not to sneeze.
That was all the fragments of the M.2 SSD. It doesn't really exist anymore. It got obliterated.
The M.2 SSD, you say?
Yeah. So from the infected computer, we're gonna save the motherboard. There's like some percentage of concern that it could have gotten a something in the BIOS. So we're gonna deal with the BIOS and move on, save the motherboard. But the SSD was a no save, so it got curse smashed. And it was fun. I just sent it with a bat into effectively bricks on the ground. And that didn't feel very good. And then I reacted very negatively about that. And then Dan runs up and is like, all right, time for me to go, and just does the exact same thing.
Luke's playing it up. It's fine. And now my hand still hurts.
See, I played baseball as a kid.
I knew it was going to hurt.
So, like,
I didn't play baseball, but I knew it was going to hurt.
Yeah, but like the thing is, you can hold it real tight, and that makes it okay-ish.
Oh.
Yeah, like it,
I don't know.
Yeah. So when I've watched you like harming yourself, I'm kind of like, for somebody so athletic.
I never played baseball.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Legitimately never did.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I could tell. Ow!
I wasn't like that. It did hurt though.
I mean, there's video evidence of how upset Luke was, and
it hurt.
I mean,
I have like broken, like popped blood vessels.
yeah, no, I believe you because you went hard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, no matter how jacked your arms are or whatever, it's not like the blood vessels in your hand,
your hand is still dealing with the like shock
are any stronger.
So okay, the reason why I went so hard was because we just originally had it like laying flat on a brick. So I was like hitting this with a bat, like nothing's really gonna happen to it. Yeah. But I still wanted something to happen to it, and then I missed.
Yeah, missed by like this much.
So it didn't even matter. Oh,
and
man.
like the best part is Luke looking at the drive after, going like, did I even hit it? And there's this dark
red mark
on the brick, like 3-4 inches away. I'm like, no, dog.
I didn't see that because it was so far away from the drive, which was even better. But then, eventually we like stood it on its end and then hit it a little harder and then kind of stomped on it and stuff, and now it has ceased to exist.
Yeah, so that drive will never harm anybody again.
Nope.
Realistically, it is possible that we could have reformatted it and reused it.
It's not worth it.
It's a 256 gig. What is that? A P5 or something like that? Crucial P5. That's what we use as our standard workstation drive, and it's like, for the amount of work and the amount of cost, if whatever malware that's on there, if it somehow
like
managed to get
or whatever,
into the firmware or something, I don't know. It is implausible, right? It probably didn't, but it is not impossible.
It's actually like, because we had some like tracking on its actions while it was on the computer and stuff, it's like extremely unlikely that it did, but it's non-zero.
Yeah.
So like
the motherboard, we're going to
the motherboard will
hope
be saved
that it didn't get into the BIOS, and we're going to keep the board because it's like,
even if it did get in the BIOS, we can save it.
Yeah, we need to talk about some of the changes that you're going to make as CTO. Luke had a little freak out over our standardized workstations.
For everyone. That's okay. So you have to understand that there's a lot of people that you don't see on camera all the time that do work that is like genuinely just in a browser. Like we make this meme about like really high-end gaming PCs used as Facebook machines. It's effectively that, but like worse, because they have $800 motherboards.
I think they're 600.
Are they?
I
Why
think
did I
so.
get a range? Asus
Z690 WS or something like that.
ProArt.
Yeah, ProArt Z690 Creator. What's one of these worth? It's also possible that the prices are jacked up now.
$680.
Okay, but on Amazon.ca, it's 477 Canadian.
Oh, I'm looking at 680 Canadian.
I don't know what to tell you here. I mean, here's my screen.
Am I looking at the wrong one? Oh, yeah. Okay. Only one left in stock.
Yeah. Whereas, you're looking at the Ryzen one.
We don't have Ryzen ones? Okay.
I think we're LGA 1700 right now because Ryzen 7 didn't make sense when we did our last standardization or something. I can't remember.
Either way,
They're pretty.
for a business computer, including mine. Like when this all happened, I looked through the window of mine and was like, what? Like, why do I need this? Why do I need an $800? I show up to work, I open up my multiple browsers because I have a bunch of different browsers with different profiles. It's all cool. I like how it's set up. And then I have my different chat programs, and that's all I do. I was laughing at work the other day because I came in and needed to have a meeting right away, and my computer was doing this really long Windows update, and I was like, what the? And then it finally finished, and I got in, and I didn't realize until like 5 p.m. it had updated to Windows 11. I had no idea because all I do is like use my browsers and other stuff. Like I don't need an $800 motherboard. There's no way.
I will tell you this. I will tell you that while I didn't spec these, I did sign off on them. But I was asked, do you want everyone to have 10 gig? Because there are a lot of people that do access the server for stuff. And I was like, well, I don't know. Sunk cost fallacy. We already invested in 10 gig infrastructure everywhere.
Bad version of sunk cost fallacy.
Hold on. No, that's the sunk cost fallacy. We were already in it. We're already in it for 10 gig infrastructure everywhere. We might as well have 10 gig capable clients. So I was like, sure. Because 10 gig cards aren't actually that expensive anymore.
Yeah, okay, here. So I want to add this in as well.
Yeah.
We have $800 motherboards.
No, but you keep saying $800,
hold on.
but...
Okay, $650, $477, whatever. The price that I got from the person who buys them internally was $600 to $800.
Okay. So hold on.
So that's where we've been buying them. So I don't care what their current cost is, because what we spent on them is around that amount.
Now hold on. Now let me jump in here. My understanding when I signed off on them was that Asus was giving us a sweetheart of a deal on them, though.
Okay, sure.
So my understanding was that we weren't paying that much for them. Now what I don't know is if that deal continued in perpetuity, or if we have just been buying.
And if we had to use them for all of the systems. Because again, you know what? If you have some argument for the video editors, because they need cranked out machines, right? Okay, maybe there's some feature on this board. Maybe they need 10 gig because they're pulling huge video files off the servers, all this type of stuff. There's arguments that I feel like could be made here. Are you gunning for the CFO job? No, but keeping budgets under control is a thing that matters for everyone, not just the CFO. Anyways, what was I going to say? Yeah, but we have so few spare systems.
Yeah.
That Jaden's talking in Floatplane chat about how he was working off a Steam Deck for a while.
Okay. That had to be voluntary.
No.
Shut up.
And it only has one monitor output.
No.
And now he's working off of a NUC.
No. I mean, we have random mini, there's a mini.
Oh, yeah, maybe we do. We have a shelf of servers.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, okay, well, what are you doing to fix it?
I'm going to be doing something. I'm trying to work slowly through this giant, insane pile of mess.
Yeah. And why was a Windows 11 update allowed to randomly apply to one of our computers? Don't you have any policies?
We're going to have to look into
policies in place.
That is actually something I wondered about, because I was like, does our antivirus solution work just as well on each one?
I don't know.
This is something that has now been flagged because my computer just randomly updated, and I was like, wow, that doesn't seem right.
We have outgrown our cavalier approach to infrastructure management.
Yeah.
The thing is that in the early days, it was mostly just a bunch of tech bros who were pretty much expected to perform all their own system maintenance. So, I mean, I'm not going to say it was a bad thing for us to standardize our workstations. It actually does make life easier. Should the workstations have been standardized on the particular components that they, maybe not. There were times that I made calls to just go with the standard component versus one that we could get a deal on. Like Fantech, we use the P400A, I think it is, for our standard workstations. And Fantex was giving us like a wild deal on them for a long time. And then they were like, you know what? You guys are like
using way too many.
Yeah, you need pallets of cases on a regular basis. How are you hiring so many people?
That's fair.
Okay, you're just gonna have to buy cases. And I was like, Corsair wanted to play ball and send us cases, but I made the call to just buy the Fantex ones. Not because the Corsair case isn't as good. In fact, the 4000D was, I think, the most popular case in Intel Extreme Tech Upgrades. Great case. The reason I made the call was the whole point of the standardized workstations is that when someone's motherboard dies,
trained on that thing and then get really fast with it and stuff.
You're going in, out. We just know everything about it. It's good to go. Don't have to think about it. Parts are easily swappable from one to the other. That was the whole point. So I was like, no, we'll just buy cases, whatever, if it comes to that. And it came to that, and that's fine. Whether that motherboard was what made the most sense, I don't know. But I was busy, and Colton was supposed to do it.
This lines up a lot of the problems.
Here's
here.
the bus. Here's Colton. Yeah, anyways.
A lot of the problems here come down to like, yeah, it was like sort of done. Someone was working on it and then, they had to make videos or something.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
okay.
that really is it. So everyone kind of was, in the early days, was expected to manage their own stuff. It didn't matter if anything was standardized, because if, like, Ed's editing station died, I'd be like, why are you talking to me about it?
You fix it.
Like, yeah, go get some new RAM or whatever. Like, there's a pile over there. Like, we didn't have an inventory system. There's no tracking for anything back in the very early days. And anyone who wasn't comfortable upgrading their computer, a lot of the time, I would just do it.
Yeah.
So that's not sustainable anymore.
No.
Sushi sent in the Floatplane chat, asks, why does everyone use desktops still? Especially with hybrid work environment, most orgs give laptops nowadays.
That's a good question.
Have you found laptop reliability to be subpar?
I found laptop. Okay, so a lot of this depends on how long you want that device to really be used for.
I guess that's fair.
And some of it also comes into, like, if we're allowing people to work from home, the problem that happened recently with the browser session hijack.
Yeah.
If we're allowing people to log into work accounts on personal computers in order to be able to work at home, that's a huge security concern because of things like browser session hijacks.
Right.
What if their sense is high when they're working because we have this trained into them, but then they open something in their personal email?
Right.
And they're
or on their personal time.
No,
Just,
but that's
yeah,
what I mean. Sorry.
sure.
It's like, say it's a Saturday and they get an email and they're like, what's this? And they open it and then they get a browser session hijack.
Right.
And it maybe has a work account open in it or something.
Right.
Like,
So you're kind of saying having that air gap, just like that physical
Having it be a different
separation
device.
between my work computer and my everything else.
Floatplane has stuff in place for this,
Right.
where we have either you need to be working on a separate partition or a separate drive. So you have like a work portion.
Right.
I don't know if people want to do that with all of their home PCs for us. Like, we send everyone home with SSDs that they have to use for work. Like, that's maybe not a great solution for everyone. It kind of works for Floatplane. I don't know if it really scales beyond that.
I don't think so.
Maybe if people want to work from home,
if we had like a dedicated
laptops.
help desk team to manage all that, then sure, maybe. But I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of stuff we need to figure out. But
Dr. O in Floatplane chat asks, also for you VDI types out there, something Horizon software plus support, what's the cost? I don't know. That's not my question. But, how feasible, given the 10 gig infrastructure, would be just going to thin clients?
all of my experience with thin clients is extremely negative.
Yeah, that's fair. It's got to have come a long way, though, with virtualization being as good as it is.
So I'm not shooting it down because of exactly that. And it could have not only just come a long way, but it could also be that the implementations that I used were just poorly done. A lot of the versions that I've tried are at like schools.
Right.
Where in one case, I know the IT team just doesn't care at all. And in the other case, it was very, very low budget because it was like my high school in the boonies. And I know what the tech budget was, and it was 0. so like the fact that it worked at all was pretty sweet. And that was also a really long time ago at this point. So like maybe it's come really far. But I always hear about problems with it, like tons of problems with it. They have thin clients at my hospital. They literally take 2 minutes to boot. Yeah, like I hear stuff like this all the time. Now, is a 2-minute boot time really that big of a problem?
I mean, it's a lot more than those dedicated machines sitting next to people's desks right now. So
yeah, but is it worth $800 motherboard plus all the other components to
it
save 2 minutes?
depends.
It might be.
The cost of those solutions
sure.
can be extremely high, and it can be ongoing. At least that computer, I buy it once.
Yeah.
And talking about how overkill it is for the tasks that a lot of these people are doing, they can use it for browsing the internet and checking emails forever.
Yeah, they're gonna work. Yeah, there's things we got to think about, and I don't know. It's not like it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be worth it at all to like replace all these $800 motherboards and attempt to flip them and then deal with the labor cost of uninstalling and reinstalling. Like, there's no way that's gonna work.
It's also just inconvenient because there's going to be entire departments that will not use thin clients.
No.
The editing team is not switching to thin clients.
It would have to be like 2 standards, really, a high spec and a like whatever other spec.
Not even the spec, just like if we had a bunch of people on thin clients.
Oh yeah, like a mixed architecture setup.
Yeah, because there are people here that
can be annoying to manage.
Would absolutely need a dedicated station.
Oh yeah,
like
for sure. Because you're literally like the video editors and stuff are literally like on the edge of performance. They like have to be all the time.
All the time.
So they're going to be dedicated desktops for sure. My workplace has 3 levels of specs. Yeah, but okay. But what I said was kind of wrong because he wasn't talking about levels of specs. He was talking about architecture styles.
Yeah.
So having VDI versus having dedicated desktops at all is what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Not spec.
Because even within those, you might have different spec levels. So, for example, anyone in engineering also going to need a dedicated workstation. Then again, actually, I think that's an industry that has moved towards virtual desktops a lot because those professional cards make more sense on a centralized machine and the way the licensing for the software works. Okay, I don't know. Yeah,
Depends. It's all stuff to look into, but compared to some of the other things, it's not like the highest priority.
Part of our problem is that what we do is so broad.
So weird.
Yeah.
Weird and broad.
We're
like
not
uncommon and a lot of different uncommons.
Yeah, we're not just like a product development company or
we're not really going to be able to apply super generic things to a lot of the stuff that we do.
Yeah.
But we do need to apply well thought out, sensible things that are actually enforced properly.
What are you saying? Can you speak plainly?
Like you said before, it's never really been anyone's full-time job.
Yeah.
So it's just people have tried to keep the ship moving.
And the ship has kept moving.
Yeah.
Like high five, okay? Everyone who's been involved in helping out with the infrastructure over the years, whether it's, Jamie or Jake or Dan or Anthony or me. Yes. I don't know. You mostly actually didn't do that much.
Not a ton. I tried, and you were like, no. I remember having a conversation with you about something, explaining that I could do it better, and you were like, no, it's more interesting for the video if it's like bad. And I was like, okay, whatever.
I was right.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't. You didn't say it that way. It was something along the lines of like, you've got it to this point, so the audience is going to want to see like the follow through of the story. Something like it was more in depth than like, oh, it should be bad, but like content rules a lot of what we do.
It really does.
And some of the drama of the infrastructure has been valuable. Moving forward, hopefully we can just make more like this is what we're doing with it stuff, which will also be interesting. But we didn't have
a good evolution for the content.
We didn't have the time or the dedicated people in order to do that style of content with it, so it was worth doing it the way that we did do it. Like everything makes sense,
and it was fun.
It just can be improved. Is what I'm
definitely
saying.
And like I want to make a couple things clear. Nothing was fake. Like
No.
when we lost the data, we lost the data.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have definitely taken a just like yeehaw, you know, let's go. You only live once approach to it. It's been a conscious decision, and it's funny because I'll see a lot of criticism of our approach where people are like, "This is so stupid." It's obviously they're only doing it because like they're just enthusiasts tinkering with this stuff and want to make a video about it. And I'm like, well, is it stupid or is it the thing you said?
Yeah.
Stupid like a fox. Like that's what we do. We just love this stuff and we're playing with it. And yeah, we don't know a lot today, but we're going to know more tomorrow. Actually, Jake and I are planning an update on how everything's running right now because there's been a ton of changes. Like you see the server graveyard over there, right? Actually, here, Dan, can you show them the server graveyard? There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's more. Can you pan up or tilt up rather? Up. There you
All
go.
the way to the top. There you go.
There we
Yeah.
go. Some more servers. The server graveyard exists because we've done a lot of consolidation over the last little while.
Yeah.
What we're planning to do then is a combination. It's going to be 2 vlogs, I think. It's going to be like an update on how everything works with the 3 locations that we have now, and data backup and resiliency across those locations. What we're planning for a really cool project that's coming up soon. So we are moving Wannik server, the primary editing NAS / like main production NAS, to a high availability solution. So it's going to be using 4 nodes in a single 2U rack,
Yeah.
where you can lose any one node, like gone, lose, and the whole thing just stays ticking, which is pretty cool. So we're going to talk about that, and then as a follow-up, we're going to do a video where I switch jobs for a day. The idea is that I work in logistics, and we are going to take on the server graveyard.
Oh.
We're going to take on some of the organization challenges we've had over at the new place. I'm going to bring not just me, but I'm going to recruit like Jake and as many people. We'll probably bring in Dan. Dan, by the way, okay, sure. Anyway, so we'll probably bring in Dan, and we'll have some fun. We're just going to go through and like organize some stuff. We haven't done any of that like classic
Moving vlog.
vloggy style content in a long time, so I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
On the subject, going back to us talking about how we do so many different things and it's all sort of broad and random.